Hey, welcome back to World Entertainment. And the social media embargo for Ant-Man and the Wasp has lifted. It premiered in Los Angeles the other day. And as you would expect, a lot of the shills are praising it, calling it the best Marvel movie since the last best Marvel movie, which was the last Marvel movie. But there are some of those massive shills who've gone in the opposite direction, very surprisingly. And in all, looking at the review, it's incredibly mixed, believe it or not. Which shouldn't be much of a shock to all of us after Phase 4. But they are praising this thing for being getting Phase 5 off to the best start, completely overlooking that this movie was meant to be a part of Phase 4. This and The Marvels. The Marvels is meant to be where Phase 4 ended, but Phase 4 was such a disaster they pulled the plug and ended it early with Wakanda Forever. So I'll give you the yin and the yang for the reviews on this one. Two super shills, and you'll see one loving it and one, the one that hates it, is surprising who it is. So here's renowned shill. This will be no surprise to anyone. Stephen Weintraub of Collider, aka Frosty. Does anyone even know why this dude calls himself Frosty? Is he like really into snowmen or something like that? I don't know. But he writes, Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is a strong start to Phase 5. Even though it's technically Phase 4. I now understand why it's called Quantumania. Jonathan Majors is excellent as Kang and cannot wait to see where this all goes. 2 after the credit scenes, and both are very good. That's one thing about a lot of these reviews there, which seems to be standard with the Marvel films now, is quick. Praise the post-credit scene. Oh, you have to see this movie just to see the post-credit scene. How good is your movie meant to be if the main thing you tell people to stick around for is a post-credit scene? The bad review, and this is surprising who this is from, because it's another super shill, the one and only Scott Mendelson. Yes, the cuties defender himself. He wrote, my son changed his mind at the last minute and skipped seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania tonight. He, sadly, had the right idea. Ooh. But a couple of people threw out questions to him and he responded. So someone wrote, was Jonathan Majors at least good? That's honestly all I really care about. And his response to that question was, as good as he can be. It's a very boring character. He's far more engrossing in Loki. Someone then tried to throw in the whole, trying to compare him to YouTubers, basically say, must be good then, because the trend now is to hate on Marvel movies and get more clicks with those juicy it's bad headlines. Mendelsohn responded, I don't review movies anymore. So apparently he doesn't work with any of this stuff anymore. He has an interesting one. I'm trying to find it, where like he really kind of bashes it. I'm not seeing it, but like he really like goes to town on basically calling it a pile of crap. By the way, to find his review of the thing is practically impossible. No one seems to be showing it. No, I can't find that other part. But he really was bashing it like. Frosty. Jesus. Frosty also threw in a fucking little nugget of nothingness saying Marvel's Fantastic Four movie starts filming early next year, says director Matt Shackman. Shackman also tells us all the casting stuff you see is just rumor. Well, that's a problem with Fantastic Four filming next year. They don't even have a cast. But the Ant-Man and the Wasp reviews, very, very mixed. I'll get up some of the other ones to kind of give you. There's your typical standard. Oh, it's great with the best special effects we've ever seen and whatnot. So here's one. He writes in big capital writings, Phase 5 has begun! And then he goes, the new Ant-Man movie is like a psychedelic roller coaster full of frightening and hilarious oddities. Plus, one very menacing Kang. Get this. Big Star Wars vibes. Meet the MCU as its freakiest and most... Oh, sorry. At its freakiest and most inventive. MODOK is a riot, but Jonathan Majors conquers. Loved the ride. That word conquers, because he's obviously Kang the Conqueror. The conquers must be the buzzword the studio gave, because half of the reviews all throw in that little quip. Oh, Jonathan Majors conquers in the role and stuff. Here's one. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is the best of the trilogy. Higher stakes, danger, and repercussions. It also got one of the best MCU villains in Kang. As soon as Jonathan Majors comes in, it's his show. Kang is a scary, lean, mean, multiverse big baddie. Also, 2 cool post-credit scenes. See, here we go again with the post-credit scenes. Here's another one. There comes a point where every franchise has to get weird, and the MCU has done just that with Quantumania. Like all his other roles, Jonathan Majors remains endlessly compelling. There is one that basically calls it Star Wars, which is funny because Star Wars is in the shitter right now. Here's one that isn't exactly a glowing review. After a frustratingly rough Act 1, Quantumania finally gets going, only to end where the story should have began. While the external stakes are clear and weighty, emotional drive felt slight, and levity even lighter. That said, Jonathan Majors rules. So they're all praising Jonathan Majors, but the film itself is getting very mixed reviews. And it should be noted as well that the official embargo does not lift until 3 days before the movie opens. That's not a great sign. But all the shills now have turned around and started going, oh, that's not bad when it's the MCU because they don't want spoilers to come out and blah, blah, blah. But with every other film, they're like, oh, that's a bad sign. Because it is a bad sign. Phase 1 to 3, they couldn't lift the embargoes quick enough. They'd premiere on a Wednesday and they'd lift the embargo by the Friday. A week, maybe even 2 weeks before the actual premiere of the movie for general audiences. Now they're like, we'll lift it 3 days or 2 days before the movie actually opens. But it's interesting to see the difference, particularly with the likes of Weintraub, who's like praising it, And Scott Mendelson, of all people, trashing it. By the way, the movie, they've given a number for its opening weekend. They're projecting 120 million. That's very low. They'll probably come in right before it and up it to like, oh, it'll open at 150 or some crap. Should also be noted, for Love and Thunder, that, you know, the movie that didn't crack 750, that opened with 144 million. So if Ant-Man and the Wasp only opens with 120, it's not looking good for that thing making money. And does China really care at this stage? Yes, this movie is getting released in China, and I don't think they'll care. Actually, it'll be interesting to see what happens there after the balloon incident. They could tell American cinema, nope, good luck. Anyway, that's it for now with Ant-Man and the Wasp. Until more stories and reviews start coming out. And with that, I'll leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.